Classes in arbitrage. We are running a little bit late today. Y'all know Mama Simon is cooking, so I will be in and out as we have a very important discussion, but I still gotta cook for my family.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm 10 toes down on this one. So, yes, indeed.
Oh,
Um,
I don't even have the chat open.
as we say, be stacking, be stacking, be stacking everything. Stacking your ounces, be stacking your satoshis, any other things you're invested into. And we talked about this
Mm-hmm.
earlier this week. That certain people who stack things like baseball cards. These things are of value, right? Even toys. It might seem silly, but you got toys, right? They
Mm-hmm.
are of value. So be stacking anything, collectibles, things of value. Be stacking whatever you can, but make sure that you are taking your fiat currency and move it into something that gains value over space and time. And that's what we're really here about. That's why we talk about Bitcoin, but whatever you want, when you stack Barbie dolls, Gemini holograms, something like that.
The gem and the
Something like
holograms.
that. I don't know. I don't know about that. But if that's what
Gem
you
and the
stack,
holograms is big at Comic Con.
I never been there. I don't know. I know you go to Comic Con with a Superman or something like that, a Batman, but I don't know about Gemini holograms. Come
Mm-hmm.
on, y'all. But yeah, just be stacking whatever it is that you can stack. Um, People stack a lot of things. I mean, I came across an article not too long. We letting some people get in the room. Came across an article not too long ago, and I'm sure we I think we read it together, but it's about $2 bills being
Mm-hmm.
valuable. So if you just would have just been holding on to $2 bills, I remember once one birthday, my mom sent one of my it was Sean, my eldest son, our eldest son, I should say.
Like $20 and $2 bills,
Yeah, she
right?
sent him a whole bunch of $2 bills, and he spent because that's what kids do. But if he'd held on to them, they might have been worth some more. So yeah, $2 bills they got moved out of. They don't make them anymore. So it's all kind of little things you can stack that I think that are valuable. So be stacking these things. Be stacking these things. 100. What's up? Okay, I can't became a member level. Okay, got you. Got you.
It
Got you.
is
Got you.
okay, OG.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so much for joining. We really appreciate you joining our show.
Mhm.
We have been really, really excited because lately we've been noticing a lot of new names. Tommy Brown, hello family, how are you? I'm so glad that you made it here. He says I caught
Who's
a
that? Bobby
live.
Brown?
Tommy Brown.
Oh, Tommy Brown. My bad, Tommy.
Um,
Salute.
so we want to welcome you guys to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much.
We're running a little late, so we do want to wait for about 20 people or so to get in the room before we start the discussion. But there goes our third cast member. But we did want to remind you guys to be stacking your sats, stacking your ounces. If you do have collectibles that have some value, stack that. Hopefully, again, this is still quarter two. For those of you who are doing the 12-week year, hopefully you're planning, you're assessing, you're reassessing, and you're creating goals in order to achieve, to get that up leveling that you're looking for. For those of you who are not so aware of what the 12-week year means,
Mm-hmm.
it's really for a certain level of achiever. They treat every week within the quarter as 1 month, right? So 12-week year. So every week you are trying to accomplish what the average person would try to accomplish in a month. And what it does is it allows you to achieve your goals, your objectives,
Yes.
missions, visions within the year, 4 years sooner than your counterparts.
Yes.
Or 4 years more, you're doing 4 years of things in 1 year over your counterpart or over the average person. So for those of you who are implementing that, we are going to keep you motivated and encouraged as we practice the 12-week year. You can kind of tell by some of the stuff we talk about.
Yeah, and the 12-week year is one of the productivity books that she put me on to.
Mm-hmm.
She put me on the game. And so I was like, oh, yeah, that's a dope idea. But it makes sense because this is how business operate. They're going to quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. 4 quarters in a year. You got to have, what are you going to, you're going to have, they're going to have to their investors, you would have to have
Quarterly reports.
quarterly reports. Thank you very much. That's what I was looking for.
I thought
Quarterly
you were going to talk
reports.
about
And
sorry.
so quarterly reports, you have to report to your investors quarterly, which means every 12 weeks. And then so that makes sense.
This is what we got done.
Yeah.
This is what's on the roadmaps. This is what we're trying to do moving forward, so on and so forth. Simon and I, although we are a married couple, Simon has always had the vision to treat the marriage as a business, which is what we do. When we have coffee dates, dinners, they end up turning into productivity dinners and things that we need to
And
do.
back in the day, you used to be able to write them off. Now, since
The
they
write-offs aren't
so
common.
high, it says like coffee date. It's a wash.
Coffee date, lunch date, dinner
Because you
date.
can't get it that high. Is it close to $20,000?
Yes, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So well, back in the day, that was a good idea to write off business lunch and business dinners. It'd be hard now if you can get it up that high. Then you can start writing stuff all the way off up to over $20,000. But that's neither here nor there. That is another show. But you want to start going in on your first issue?
Well, I do. Before we start talking about how lineage impacts generational wealth, I'm always trying to bring to your attention perception changes, what the reality actually is versus what we're used to hearing versus what we're used to seeing. And last night I was reading my Bible and I came across Joshua. I was reading Joshua. It's Joshua 24, I want to say verse 13, where God tells them, I have literally given you, because remember in the Bible, the whole idea was, I'm going to give you a land for an inheritance, right? The land of milk and honey. So everybody knows that storyline. In Joshua 14, Joshua, he's a warrior like David. He conquered a lot of cities. He was able to get a significant amount of the inheritance, obviously, with God on his side, in order to give the children of Israel. Joshua is now old in age. It says he's waxing old. And he goes before the children to kind of give them like a last general's announcement, something like a briefing from a general. And he says to them, this is what God says. God says that I have given you land that you didn't have to till or work for. I've given you cities that you didn't have to build. I've given you vineyards that you didn't have to plant or sow, yet you reap, yet you eat from. And basically just showing you the abundance in something that you did not have to put any economic labor towards. As a matter of fact, as you continue to read, you realize that the power laws have taken place because Joshua and his warriors got the land for the children of Israel. So 20% of Israel did all of the work and then turned around and handed land to people who did not fight in those wars, who did not take part in any of the war campaigns, et cetera, et cetera. And something like struck me immediately. So your non-coiners have a significant amount of faith in fiat currency. And if they understood the reality of it, I think they would change their tune.
Yep.
Fiat currency is the money, right? Because the average person calls fiat currency money. It's the money that they use, they rely on, they pin their dreams around. You have the memes where it's like, for $1 million, would you do this? For $1 billion, would you do that? And typically people will be like, I do that for $10. That's how bad it is. You hear in the music, all of the degenerate young ladies now in the hip hop game are telling you they're willing to do anything for $100. So you can see how much faith and value they have in fiat currency. But the reality is fiat currency has depreciated to 96.
Oh, 98%.
98%.
And
in depreciation, right? It's not 96. It is down to 4% of its value. And we all know that all fiat currencies from the starting of time always go back to zero. Okay, so there's that. Then when you look at, let's buy a beautiful car off the car lot. Whether you put a down payment on a car or you pay for the car in whole, by the time those front tires hit the threshold of the car lot and the main street, that vehicle has appreciated in value. We did a show a couple of days ago, and we talked about how 100,000 US dollars in salary isn't 100 US thousand dollars anywhere in the United States. The closest you can get to it is in Laredo, Texas. Your 100,000 US dollars, I'm sorry,
Yeah, El
Paso, not Laredo,
88,000.
is worth 88,000. So it still lost 12% of its value. Okay, and I'm just taking you down this road so that you can see the reality of things and what people put their value in. When we see rappers like Busta Rhymes and Slick Rick, and they got these big chains. I remember Nas said in the line about Eric B and Rakim, their chains were dookie, right? He was just talking about how big they were. From the time they walk over the threshold of Jacob's store, that chain isn't worth whatever they just paid for it 60 seconds ago.
Yeah, because you're gonna get melt value if you try to sell it, turn it in. So.
But I'm talking to you guys about things that have value, but lose its value almost instantaneously. Now, let's look at Bitcoin, right? All you have to do is either buy Bitcoin with your depreciating value or earn it, right? Utilizing some type of activity, paying your bills, just depending on what type of earning program you're in for Bitcoin. And it immediately appreciates in value. So imagine that you can take something like fiat currency, put it on your Cash App, buy some sats with this depreciating currency, and literally transform it into an appreciating commodity.
And number go up, right? NGU. People who've been in this space long enough, we know. We've seen the number go up, 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 and up. Sometimes newer people, they're seeing what you call the Bitcoin dance, where they don't really see the number go up like we've seen it go up. Because we were here when the number wasn't nothing. I mean, like I said in the last show, it was a fight. It was like a fight at 10,000. Just couldn't go over 10,000. Bang, bang, bang. You get knocked down back to 9,200, 9,400. Couldn't get past 10. And we just said, if we could just get past 10. And look how far we've come from that fight. For the people who've been here, you guys remember that. And so, like you said the other day, just see right now buying a dip, because one day you'll look back and be like, man, we couldn't get above 70.
Right.
But now this thing is in anywhere. It could be anywhere at that point. So that's what it's been doing this whole time.
So we're talking about Bitcoin, as Max Kaiser has coined it. Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom. I took you through all of those scenarios to show you literally the fingerprint of God in Bitcoin, right? We live in a world full of abundance. The lack and the scarcity of things, the way they have manipulated it, really is kind of demonic. It's not kind of, it is demonic when you look at it, right? The fact that your cash, the economic labor you have to put in your cash. So if $100,000 isn't $100,000 anywhere in the United States, you are technically working even harder to keep up with the prices that are the prices, right?
Yeah.
So they're saying that inflation is, they give you numbers like it's 8%, it's 10%, but what's the actual reality of inflation?
And what you just spoke on is really time theft as well.
There we go.
It's time theft.
Let's
People
go.
are stealing your time. They're stealing your time. So when we were in the military, a long time ago, there was it helped me out with this because I think I'm mess it up. But when you lived in different places, they paid you
Cost of living allowance.
Okay.
COLA.
So if $100,000 isn't $100,000, you should actually be paid COLA.
Right. You should
to
be paid
make it
a
$100,000.
cost of living allowance stipend in order to meet that. Or, right, for those of you who are W-2 employees, your raise should actually be that cost of living allowance stipend. Typically, your average person, and I don't have the actual stats, but your average person who gets a raise is looking at between 2 and 3% of a raise.
Yeah.
Okay? So I wanted to show you, when I say the fingerprint of God in Bitcoin, I have done a show not too long ago where I told you, if you buy an apple, and not your United States GMO apples, like a real apple in a different place that has living seeds in it, right? And we refer to him as the living God. So your apple has living seeds in it. An average apple has anywhere from 10 to 12 seeds. That's not 10 to 12 new apples. That's 10 to 12 new apple trees. And the saying goes is that man can count the seeds in the apple, but only God can count the harvests that come with those seeds. The abundance, that is the fingerprint of God. That is the image and likeness of God, abundance. When you look at fiat currency and see how they've manipulated it, how they keep printing it, you have the cotillionaires who obviously it has the most value closest to the printer. You are seeing the demonism and how they are manipulating monetary policy.
Yeah.
Right? You're seeing the demonic aspect of it. When you look at a system that is built upon debt, how could that work? How could that work? Imagine that we can only make money, and I'm talking about the bankers and all those movers and shakers who make a lot of money. We can only make money via debt. So the reality of that is we can only be rich if we keep you poor.
Yeah. And remember, as far as having the world reserve currency, we talked about this before, the Triflin dilemma, where it basically says that if you have the world reserve currency and you have to push it out to the rest of the world, you end up hollowing out your own industry and workforce.
Which is why the U.S. doesn't have factories anymore. We typically don't manufacture anything.
Yeah, because like she said, remember back in the day, you get a job at GM, whatever,
steel mill,
but they outsource all that
candy
stuff.
Factory.
That's a candy.
Candy factory.
They outsource all of it, and so it hollows out your production in your own country.
Yes.
So that's a Triflin dilemma. It's more to it than that, but that's just an easy way to look at it.
So we just wanted to bring that to your attention. When people want to argue with you about Bitcoin, when somebody's telling you some type of fear, doubt, uncertainty about Bitcoin, just show them the fingerprint of God in it, right? There is so much abundance. People say, well, Bitcoin is scarcity. It's ultimate scarcity, and that's what makes it valuable. Yeah, right? 21 million. Okay, I can see what you're saying. How many sats do you need for one Bitcoin?
Right.
100 million. And there is the fingerprint of God in that. That's abundance. 100 million sats make this one Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And yes, there's only 21 whole Bitcoin, right? There's only 21 whole, but the parts allow everybody to have access to something, to some part of it, to tap into some piece of that abundance, some piece of that prosperity.
Most definitely. Do the math on it. 21 million times 100 million, right?
It's
and that
unmathable.
gives I mean,
It's unmathable.
I understand that the math. That's where you use exponent.
Yeah, the exponents.
Exponents, but do the math on that, because 21 million, 100 million. That's what Bitcoin is. That's what she's saying the abundance is.
So when people ask me, they like to ask a lot about, what do you think about God and Bitcoin? And I see a lot of God in Bitcoin. I see his fingerprint all over it. I see his signature everywhere when it comes to it. I see his reality in it. And this is why they hate it. This is why they hate it. Because they're not going to be able to manipulate it. They're not going to be able to beat it. They're not going to be able to eradicate or eliminate it. And we need to start being able to see the reality of it as we continue to participate, interact with it, some type of interaction with it, whether you're buying it, you're earning it, so on and so forth. But those of us in the space, we should absolutely be able to see and comprehend the magnitude of what Bitcoin is, what it stands for, how it benefits us, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So as
There's
far as
about
that goes,
40 people in the room.
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
think we can get to the lineage.
Okay, we can get right into that. Yeah, she's right. Maximize your Bitcoin. Even don't get caught up in the numbers. Even if you only get $20, get some Bitcoin. Chop wood, like I say, chop wood. Get Bitcoin, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit of time. And I tell you,
Slow and steady will win that
yeah,
race.
over a while you'll be like, man, I didn't know I had that much Bitcoin. So that's a good thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you wanted to
Transition now into, after we saw all of the wonderfulness of Bitcoin, right? We are often talking about how Bitcoin, one of its benefits is the ability to finally create generational wealth in communities like ours, where generational wealth was very difficult to establish, right? They wanted us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps when a lot of us didn't even have any boots. So here we are. We have the opportunity now. But what we want to do, because this conversation is so, what's the matter, baby? You just have to wait. You have to wait. The reality of it is because we're not used to having these conversations about how wealth affects our generations, how we're supposed to train them generationally. We've always saw legacy families pass the wealth down from one generation to another to another. And for the most part, it's been fairly successful in a lot of these legacy families, but we also have a very profound statistic that generational wealth can be lost in one generation. It just takes one generation to misappropriate and squander the wealth. So what we want to do today is we are a very large family. For those of you who are new to the network, for those of you who are new to the show, Simon and I, we have been coined as the first family of Bitcoin by people in the space. And it's because we're a huge family. We have 4 sons. We're not a blended family. I gave my husband 4 sons. And the idea is that every single child in this house, from the 22-year-old to the 6-year-old who was whining to me about wanting mommy's phone, has Bitcoin. They have investments. They have, even though obviously some of them we have to have because they're minors and we can't have it in their name, their portion, their lot, their inheritance has already been set aside for them and is continuing to grow.
Yes, it is. And so that's what the show, we really wanted to talk about this show, Lineage, and the importance of lineage. And we may have gone over this before, but wanted to just really drill down on is as you're trying to build generational wealth, you have to have a plan as lineage wise, right? So, for example, we have 4 sons. We understand the lineage in regards to, okay, if our eldest son gets married, her last name will be, as of ours, Simon, and his lineage continues to go down his line. I don't have any daughters, but if you had a daughter, you'd have to understand when your daughter gets married, her lineage swifts it swifts off from your lineage, right? If you took a lot and you built up all this money and assets and gold, silver, Bitcoin, she gets married to a man, she changes her last name. Whatever you leave her is going to go down that man's lineage, right? So you got to understand as you build your generational wealth, how your lineage is looking and how you want to, I guess, disperse it, if you will, right? If you got 2 daughters and 1 son, and then you have a will and you have this amount of money you want to leave to each one of them, um, you know, regular thinking would tell you, split it up, whatever, 3 ways. But if you want your lineage to continue as far as assets and generational wealth, you probably should leave a bulk of it to your son because that's going to continue down your line. And it's not about getting on genders one way or the other. Just saying, if you got $100,000, you can leave 33,000 to each. It's 99,000, pretty close. And you can leave 33,000 to each. But if you got 2 daughters, $66,000 is going to go down another person's lineage line, when maybe you should leave the bulk of it to your son so it can go down your lineage line. And this is how we have to set stuff up. I'm just using the flat numbers so that we can run through the math real easy. But yeah, you have to understand lineage. And if you do have a daughter, you want to sit down. If she has a husband and he's going to be a young man, right? You want to sit down with him and, top up the game with him about building wealth for his new lineage that's going down his line. Even though you're going to leave him something, you're going to leave them something, but speak to him on how he can build on the lineage of his line, right? Because, once the line shifts, the name shift. And, people don't think big about that. But yeah, once you get married, your name changes. And this is people who are really trying to do this. Men, they want to build their own family and they want to build their own lineage. And that's what it is. And so once they take, from the father's house, to her husband's house, then name switches, right? That was so-and-so's name, Smith, it switches to Jones or something like that. But you want to see how the lineage is going to play out. And you can see it now because your children are young, if you have them. And you can see like, well, I have a son, his lineage is going to stay in my, our line. Or if I have a daughter, lineage might switch. So you want to, be, quarterbacking this. If you got a 10-year-old, you could quarterback this before it even happens, because it's going to happen, right? It is going to happen. Your child's going to get married. They're going to have children. So you want to make sure that you understand the lineage, right? I was explaining to them. I just used the example.
I can hear it.
Okay, by having 3 kids, and you might want to have it more towards the person that's in your lineage, right?
Right.
And then, give a little something here. I use $100,000. And say you maybe want to give, 50 to the lineage, and then split the other 50 to the non-lineage, if that's the right way to say it.
But you splitting it 50-50?
But I was saying, if you had a boy and 2 girls, you give the boy 50 because that keeps the lineage going, and then you split the other 50 with the 2 girls because their lineage is going the other way. It's going into somebody else's. It's going into somebody else's lineage. And so
I don't like that. I mean, we don't have daughters, so it doesn't apply. But if I was a daughter, especially in my situation, I would be tight about that.
why?
Because I do the majority of the work in keeping the estate together.
But still,
Let the boy who getting the 50% keep the estate together. Then he don't get to just run off scot-free.
But where'd the lineage go?
The lineage went towards the Simons, but I still belong to my family and still require an inheritance.
You do, but what I'm saying is, where is it going?
I understand where it's
to another
going.
person's inheritance.
But she is still part of the family. She's the matriarch of the family at that.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you wanted to keep your lineage, you would give the majority to somebody who's going to keep going down the line.
I understand that, but your daughters are still your daughters. They're still, just because they're marrying a son doesn't mean that, we're not going to give you a good portion of the inheritance because it's his family.
Yeah, because your heritage is gone.
No, I think you should cultivate that they make good decisions. If she gets a husband like my husband, he is going to continue to build upon that.
But it won't be in his name.
What do you mean it won't be in his name?
If your father passed it down to you,
right,
it won't be in his name anymore.
So that means she doesn't get an inheritance because she was born a girl?
No, I'm just saying, if you want to protect what you built.
I understand about the protecting of what you built, but in a way to protect what you built would also be to cultivate that through your daughter, so that if you did it, if we have 4 daughters, instead of 4 sons,
you're in trouble now,
right? You cultivate what you built, so she makes good decisions. She finds a good husband.
But you have no options. If you have 4 daughters, you have no options.
You have just 2 daughters if you only have 1 daughter. But you can't be like, because I have a son and 2 daughters, I'm going to give him 75% of the wealth and split the 25 between the 2 of them because they now belong to the new guy.
Yeah, because that cuts off generational wealth right there. Cuts it off.
But I don't think she should punish for that because
she's not being punished.
She is being punished. My brothers are going to get 75% of the wealth because they are the boys.
Yep.
I'm a girl. I'm part of the family. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that I've been Simon longer than I've been Ogle, but
when generational wealth means it goes,
but those are still your grandchildren.
But it goes down your name.
I understand that, but even if she gets married to somebody, those are still your grandchildren. You have to take care of and
well, you know, you're big into the
build a way for.
You're big into the British and how they move down with the kingdom and the queen and king. That you see how they do it.
I understand that, but that's white savagery, right? So we don't copy everything they do. That's white savagery.
I'm just saying,
I'm saying though, if your daughter marries a man and they have children, those are still your grandchildren and they still deserve a lot of the inheritance.
So that's a good thing she brought up.
Those are your grandchildren. Don't matter if they have his last name or not.
It does matter.
Born from her womb. It doesn't matter.
It does.
They're still from the womb of your daughter. That's loin of your loins.
So then I'm glad she brought that up.
More so than him. We're sure those are her children. We don't know if he's the father.
I'm not gonna go there. I'm keeping it on the up and up.
Right.
But what I'm saying
is, loin of your loins.
So as somebody like myself or like you, mm-hmm. if your children have a child, right?
Right.
It'll have your last name, but it'll have my last name because
we have 4 sons.
Right.
However, if we have 4 daughters, those children are going to have different last names. They're still loin of our loins.
Yeah,
those are still our grandchildren. They still deserve a significant portion of the inheritance.
But what happens is, if everybody was doing what they're supposed to be doing, mm-hmm. the lineage line would be whoever got your daughter pregnant.
Understood.
To run that lineage line.
Understood.
And their lineage should have saved something for them.
I understand what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. I don't want you to think I don't understand what you're saying, but I want you to understand, as the girl, I am the girl, right? My children are still my father's grandchildren, despite the fact that they are Simon.
Yeah, but
they are still loin of his loins. I come from his loins. These children who come from they're still loin of his loins.
So as a man, then I put it like this: if my son has a son, it's different than if I had a daughter who had a son.
Right.
It's different.
But he's still your first grandchild.
He is, but it's different.
But he still deserves an inheritance.
And it should come from the lineage of that side.
No.
The male side.
No. If we are building an empire, if we are building a legacy.
How can you build a legacy and it's on another person's name? You can't.
Well, that's what the paperwork is for. That's why your paperwork has to be in order. But they're loin of your loins. They are coming from your children, directly from your descendants.
But without your name. And that's why it's hard to build on top of that. If it doesn't have your name on it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand what you're saying, but I'm saying from a practical standpoint, I don't think it's fair to the daughter because those children who come out of her womb are still your children.
Unfortunately, it's not fair to the daughter, but we live life.
So what I was saying, what you would do though is you would cultivate, and this is the part that we have to get right. You would have to cultivate it by raising the daughter so she knows how to make decisions. She knows how to build wealth. She knows how to keep and hopefully she'll make good choices in the men that she chooses.
Well, I'm giving all
where
that
we can work as a collective.
Well, then now you're going back to the part where you're supposed to meet up with a family and say, hey, I have a son, you have a daughter.
Right. Well, you arrange it, but in this case, you have cultivated the children in a way where it is part of their collective consciousness. They know what to say, they know what to do, they know how to move, they know who to move with.
But you know what I'm
so
saying,
that
Aaron.
you can continue to build on that wealth. I don't.
But the wealth just goes down a different line.
But that's still your daughter. I understand it goes down a different line, but give her and your grandchildren the leg up that you would give your son and his children.
If you gave it to your son, it goes down your line.
Cool. She is still your daughter.
It's gonna go down a different line. I mean,
But your daughter and her children, regardless of who she has children with, still deserve the inheritance of the family who built it for them.
But it's gone.
No, she would just continue to build it. There people are talking in the chat.
Well, tell me. I know about Lineage, man.
I understand what you're saying with the names, but that's still your daughter, and the children that she has are more your children than the child that they're going to try to stick your son with because he got some money. You know that when she has a baby, that is your grandchild.
So if you have, for example,
that.
We'll use everybody's favorite, all you guys' favorite out here, Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's going to allocate money towards his sons.
No, Ivanka got the lion's share. That's what you don't know.
Ivanka?
Not Ivanka. Ivanka's the daughter. Ivana is the wife.
Ivana's the wife.
Ivanka has the lion's share of the money. That's who he puts she got her husband's last name, but he puts everything in her name.
Not Barron?
No.
Well, he's moving around doing stuff with that.
I understand that, but she has the access. Michael and the other son and Donald Jr., Ivanka has it. That's where the control is with him. Not to say that Michael and Donald and Barron won't get a significant amount,
they're gonna get an amount,
but she's the one who runs things.
Well, maybe he knows that she's the smartest one.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. But he also knows that her children are his grandchildren. He knows that.
What are her children's last name?
Whatever her husband's, I think it's Kirshner or something like that. I think she's married to Jared Kirshner.
Yeah, she is.
Right? So I understand what you're saying, but those are Donald's grandchildren. She can have a baby from anybody and pass it on to Jared. Regardless, those children are loin of Donald's loins.
They are, but men are territorial like that. They want that name to stay alive.
I understand that, but I'm just saying where it should start, right, is when they're young. You have to do the legacy planning. When I say legacy planning, I don't mean wills and stuff. I mean from the time you come out the womb, we are going to talk to you about what wealth is. We are going to show you what you have. We're going to show you what we're building. We're going to show you how to build it. So that when you grow up and you get married and you have your own family, it is part of their collective consciousness.
So if you come over here and you say Simon Family Investment Ventures, how can you run that and that's not your name anymore? But you're just running under the name?
Yes, because, and that's why they have hyphenated names. She is Beyonce Knowles Carter. The baby Blue Ivy is Blue Ivy Knowles Carter.
Who built it?
Both of them did.
Who built it before him?
Who built what before who?
Matthew built it.
And Jay-Z built his own dynasty. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying he built a dynasty.
And Jay-Z built a dynasty under the name Carter. So the child has both names.
But she's Beyonce. She's like Cher.
She is Beyonce Knowles Carter.
What do we people call her?
They call her Beyonce Knowles, but legally she's Beyonce Knowles Carter.
They just call her Beyonce.
Okay.
Let's be honest. They just call her Beyonce.
Okay, so then what are you asking me?
I'm just saying Matthew Knowles built it.
He built Beyonce's side and Jay-Z built his own side. Jay-Z didn't come in and he's eating off of Beyonce.
But what I'm saying is, if he has a son, and I believe he does.
He has a son named Sir.
What's his last name?
Carter.
Not Knowles Carter.
It is Knowles Carter. Because the wealth, they're all Knowles Carter. Jay-Z's last name is Carter Knowles. Because obviously Carter's his last name. So
which way is the wealth going? Down the Carter line, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think Jay-Z wrote the kids out the will because they're two girls? You think they get the least of the lion's share because they're girls and they're going to get married one day? Or is it, I've taught my daughters what to do. I've taught them how to build an empire.
But I'm just
so
saying,
when they get married, they have the same opportunity my son does.
Not the opportunity, but what I'm saying is the wealth just switches down to a new line.
What if you only had a daughter? You going to tell them don't leave her nothing?
Then you just in trouble.
Don't leave her nothing?
You got to leave her everything. But you got to sit down with the husband of the daughter and explain how.
So why can't you do that regardless if you have 10 sons and 2 daughters or just a daughter? Why can't we do that? So that the daughters can get the inheritance her parents and she helped build. It's not even like the children don't help build on the wealth.
It'd be like wealth allocation, where you want to allocate this amount of wealth, this amount of, it's just like a portfolio.
Let me ask you this question. My father died and left us a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
What if my father said, Simon needs to take care of you, even though I have you take care of everything under the sun for this house for the last 20 years, we're going to give the majority of the insurance to your brothers. Would I have a right to be upset about that?
You would, yes. I wouldn't.
I'm talking about me though, just as a daughter, would that be fair?
It would. He should leave the money to his sons.
And not me, even though I do all the work.
I didn't say not leaving anything. I'm just saying he should leave the majority to his sons.
Why?
Because it can go down his name line. If people are building legacy and lineage. If they're not building lineage, then leave it to who you want to leave it to. But if you're thinking about lineage.
I am not building legacy and lineage though. What did we do with the money he gave us?
We invested it.
Okay. So we built something incredible with the money that he left me. What? I don't understand. Why should they get they don't even do that. They're just going to spend the hell out of it. It'd be gone.
Yeah, but
when you could have left the majority to me, at least it would have went somewhere productive here.
What I'm just saying is you're no longer in his name and his lineage line. If people are thinking about lineage.
I understand what you're saying about lineage, but I don't understand. First of all, the daughters do the majority of the work in the household any damn way. They take care of the parents. They're the ones who take care of the estate. They're the ones who take care of their elderly parents. When their elderly parents who have the life insurance, those boomers, need somewhere to go, they go live with their daughters. They don't go to their sons.
I can't fight that argument.
No, you can't. So I do have a problem with that.
No, what I'm saying is lineage. It's going down another line.
So what? If she is building something, she's building something. Those are still your grandchildren. When those children have children, those are still your great-grandchildren. Even if they have a different name, that's still your blood.
But it's different. I'm just telling you. I mean, as a man, I'm just trying to tell you. It's different if you're going to be a man and you have a son and he has a son. That's different than if you had a daughter and she has a son.
At least you know that when your daughter has a baby, that's your daughter. You don't know what's going on with your sons.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Right? You went and built up and left all this money for them, and then we run a DNA test, and those aren't their children.
Well, then that goes to the women who are out
understand what I'm saying,
a little
though.
reckless
This
now.
is your daughter, and the children that come out of her womb are your grandchildren, without a shadow of a doubt.
But what I'm trying to say
no
is,
DNA test needed.
What I'm trying to say is people who build up a branding for themselves and they have a name on it.
Understood.
Then it's on the sons, right? And then if the women decide to hyphenate it or just not take on a new name, because we've known people like that, right? You know, you got Muhammad Ali. He built himself up. So his daughter, what's his daughter's name?
Layla Ali. Is she married?
She is married.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. So he made sure that it's gonna go down the Ali line. And you know, you go on Jordan, LeBron, LeBron's got 2 sons and 1 daughter. He's going to leave,
but he's not going to leave the lion's share of the money for his sons and give his daughter a quarter of it. He's going to split it up equally to protect his daughter and his grandchildren.
What's his daughter's last name going to be?
If she gets married, it's not going to be James.
What name did he build up?
I understand that, but if she gets married, her last name's not going to be James. She's going to get married, and her last name's going to be whatever the guy's name.
What's the son's both names going to be, though?
Simon. LeBron is not Kobe has how many daughters? Did he say, I ain't leaving nothing to none of y'all because I don't have any sons? She had to run to court to put the baby in the will.
He had 4 daughters, unfortunately. I mean, he don't have no sons. So
if he had 4 daughters and 4 sons, you're saying the 4 daughters shouldn't get anything and the sons should get the majority of it because they're daughters?
It's like allocating your funds towards your lineage.
Simon, that daughter is your lineage, and the children that come from her womb are your lineage. They have your DNA.
But what I'm saying is, as soon as she marries somebody,
it doesn't matter that she marries somebody. Those are your grandchildren. Those are your grandchildren.
I understand that.
More so than his, because we don't even know he's really the father.
No, but what it's supposed to be is the male on the other side is supposed to be putting into that part of the lineage.
Understood. Why can't y'all work together? If I leave you something for my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren, yes, Dad, you are supposed to be working to leave and not leeching off of her, but you're supposed to be working towards something well. And that is how you really build the legacy.
But you were supposed to meet up and say, I have a son, you have a daughter.
Okay, we can't do that, right? We didn't do that. We met, we fell in love, and we had the right to build something that we actually wanted. We didn't do the arranged thing. I understand the practicality of the arranged thing, but you see, it doesn't work more often than it does.
Because people aren't.
No, because they don't like the person that they got married to. Right? Like, we lived together, we tried this for a few years. I just don't like you. I'm not attracted to you. This was a business arrangement, and that's what that is.
Isn't that what it was supposed to be back then?
Right, and it doesn't work more than it works. That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't work this way either out here in these new streets.
Because of the way that they're picking. The way that they're picking.
Okay.
Right? Everybody's chasing good sex. And if you don't have good sex, then I can't deal with you. Very often these girls will talk about dealing with the guy, and he was the best guy ever, but Pookie had the best sex, so she just risked it all for Pookie, and he don't have shit.
But a homeboy, shout out to rest in peace, Kevin Sams will tell you, hey, why do people rather get pregnant
then get married?
I
don't understand that either. But I'm saying, if your daughter gets married, you shouldn't pull back the inheritance just because she might be the most responsible of the kids and could really build something if you just split it up equally. Now, the chat is saying, if you know, says I disagree. If you ask the opinion of the chief and Zay, since they have daughters, in the end, it doesn't matter how you raise them, then they're able to make their own decisions. Now, Yahab Sakari.
So let's run that back.
Wait, before you go, let me just. Yahab Sakari, I want to welcome you to the room. Thank you so much for joining us. He's agreeing with you. He's saying he's 100% right. You're talking about bloodline.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, Tiffany Lewis, you and I must be related. In my family, my brothers are less responsible and squander the good portions of their inheritance. So what was the point in doing that when she could have just taken all of it and would have built something productive with it? So your money got anyway.
I'm talking about people who are really about the lineage.
Doesn't matter. If you're really about the lineage and the son squander the money, the prodigal son squanders the money, when you could have gave that to your daughter who would have built up something because she was the responsible one anyway.
That's first of all, that's a poor analogy because the prodigal son came home to a brother. He didn't come home to a sister.
He didn't come home to a sister. No, he didn't. But the point is that if that was a sister, you went and gave her 25%, wait a minute, and gave him 75% for him to just blow everything you worked for anyway.
But it wasn't a sister. It was the prodigal son came home to a brother who did all the work while you was out effing off. And you came back home and your father welcomed you back in.
Okay, so let's say there was a sister in that scenario.
But
I'm saying her inheritance got pulled back to get squandered. When you could have just gave it to her and she could have built something.
Well, we can't just rewrite the scripture.
We can rewrite the hypothetical situation.
Hypothetical
right?
scripture.
You had 2 sons and a daughter. Your one son went and you gave them 75%. You gave her 25%. He went and squandered his whole load.
Well, man, load pause.
When she could have had an equal share and built something.
She could have, but what I'm trying to say is lineage, because she could have built something. But what happens? She built something down another lineage. She built something down another line.
But not really, because those are your grandchildren and great grandchildren and great great grandchildren. It is still your bloodline. It is still your bloodline. The name is a name, it's the blood that matters. That's your bloodline. The children who come out of her, and those children who come out of them, and those children who, that's your bloodline. Forget the name.
Yeah.
It's the bloodline. That's still 50% your blood.
It is, but the name, man.
But it's the bloodline. It's not, I think the name is a semantic. Your daughter, those are your grandchildren, versus this girl is trying to pass this child off to be a Simon when she went and got pregnant from Pookie down the street.
So what would you do?
You went and left the inheritance to a child that's not even yours.
What would you do?
It's got your name because nobody knew, but then your daughter, your daughter who has the loin of your loins is getting pulled back a portion. That doesn't make sense.
No, what would you do? You said your son would have a child. What would you do? You say that's our child.
Understood. When we find out that our child is actually Pookie's child.
But it won't be. You know what I'm saying.
I'm just saying.
Don't make it the worst situation. If you say,
okay, so
it's our child.
So if your daughter has a child, that's not your child, that's his child?
That's their child now.
Why? That is my daughter. These are my grandchildren.
So if you said our eldest son, Sean.
We don't have any daughters. That's why I say that. But if I had 4 daughters, those are our children.
If he had a child, that's our child, or is that man's child? Who? When I say that man, her father's child. It's our child. We bring it into our harvest, our nest.
So if he was our daughter, the children don't mean anything, even though that's our bloodline. I gave birth to her, and she gave birth again. That's my child.
No, I'm talking about his grandparents.
I am the mother of your mother.
I'm talking about the grandparents, though.
If I had a daughter, I gave birth to her, and my daughter turned around and gave birth to a little girl. I am the mother of her mother. That is my grandchild. That is loin of my loins.
Say that one more time.
If I have a daughter and she has a daughter, that daughter is my child. She is loin of my loins. Yes, she is.
Oh, that's why we had to show on the lineage. We have to talk about
that's my blood in there. That is it's not my name, which is just the name, but that's my bloodline. If you did a DNA test of that grandchild and mashed it against me, they would be like, this is your grandmother.
Okay.
This, without a shadow of a doubt, this is your grandmother.
All right,
or a very close relative.
All right, I'm gonna try to get off this topic, man, because you're getting a little heated by it.
No, I'm not getting heated. I'm just saying it's bloodline.
It's bloodline. It's lineage. We just talked about LeBron
I understand
James.
lineage, but you're hung up on the name.
Whose children are LeBron James' children?
They're his children.
Not his wife's children. So the wife's parents, they're his children.
Okay.
They didn't go that way. They didn't go down her bloodline. They don't have the name. He built up all the money. They're his, and they're his to go down the bloodline.
But that doesn't mean he's going to keep a significant portion back from his daughter because she's going to get married one day.
He has to.
He's not going to do, none of them do that. None of them do that.
He's smart enough.
You think Paris Hilton's grandfather said, hey, you about to have 2 daughters? They don't get no hotels. No, he didn't do that.
I don't know about him. I'm not a big follower of him. But I'm just telling you.
But they don't do that.
I'm just telling you, he's going to leave the
No, he's not. He's going to break it up evenly. They all break the money up evenly with their daughters. Deca millionaires, they break the inheritance unless you do something stupid and make them mad. Like, what's his name from the Rose?
It's strategic, Aaron. This is strategic.
But it's not strategic. I don't think it's fair to your daughter, who may be the responsible one of the pack.
Yeah, but then when she goes and changes her name to Smith, and
those children are still your grandchildren, and they still deserve the advantage that your son's children deserve.
So is this the same thing as wealth is squandered in one generation?
Yes. So because she's your daughter, it's squandered when she might actually build it up and he squanders it.
Somebody's gonna squander it. Somebody's gonna squander it because it just
So
happens.
then what's wrong with breaking it up equally and training them so that the wealth doesn't get squandered?
Because you're training them to build the wealth down a different lineage line. Whether daughter does it the best, she built it up to a new lineage line. That's fine. She won't squander
So
it.
she's on her own because
She's not on her own.
X chromosome, she's on her own.
She built it up, but she
But
built
she
it up.
got to build it up on her own because she doesn't have your last name.
If you left it for her,
But you're saying you're not leaving it for her. That's what you're saying. You're saying,
no.
your girl,
That's
I'm
not
going to
what
give the majority to my sons because they're mine.
What I'm saying
Your
is,
husband gotta
if
build
I
it for
left
you.
you, if you left something for your daughter, she's gonna get married. You're gonna build the wealth up through that man's lineage line, not through the lineage line that you built up, that you came from. That's going somewhere else. And if you're okay with that, fine, send it somewhere else. If your last name was James, and then now you're married to Smith, and you build up this lineage and this wealth, it's going that way. It's going the Smith way, not the James way. It's going the Smith way. I'm talking about just basic people. Not, I mean, I'm using them as an example, but you know what I'm saying.
I don't understand why she can't get the same leg up and boost as the son.
The leg up is the leg up, but what I'm trying to tell you, you're building it down that man's lineage line.
But that is still your bloodline. Let me see what they're saying in chat. Bitcoin Shango said, on my way to YouTube, what up? Genetically speaking, bloodline speaking, we all carry our mother's genes forward. Right? Even Jesus didn't have a dad, so his is matriarchal.
He did not have a dad? Are we gonna go there?
Yes, Joseph was, Mary was supposed to be
Who was his dad?
immaculate conception. God the Father was his
Okay,
dad.
thank you. Like, he had the ultimate
But
dad.
genetically
He had the
speaking,
ultimate dad.
his bloodline is matriarchal.
Yeah, but it doesn't work that way.
But it does work that way. That's how it
All
works.
right, I'm
That's why I'm saying if we have a daughter, I know for sure that her grandchild belongs to us.
I understand the matriarchal part, but I'm saying the name change matters.
I didn't say that it doesn't matter. I'm saying that is still your daughter,
and those
are still your grandchildren. Yes, genetically speaking, the bloodline. You're saying the name. It's still your bloodline.
Your bloodline shifts.
Your bloodline don't shift. Your bloodline is your bloodline. That's why they use it as genetic markers. Your bloodline is your bloodline.
You got 4 sons. Did your bloodline shift or not?
They still have my mother and my father's bloodline.
How would anybody know?
If that's what the test. That's what the
not the test. I'm
for.
just saying, what's your name?
My name is Simon. Now, because
what is their
I'm married,
name?
Their name is Simon. But genetically, I don't even know that I'm Ogle. I'm more Beresford than I'm Ogle genetically. But that's my mother. That's not my father.
They would never. You were Ogle.
I have all of the Beresford characteristics.
When were they,
I don't even look like the Ogle.
When were they ever Ogle?
Never.
When were they ever a Beresford?
Never.
So I'm saying the name matters. The name matters because once you shift it
off. But if you died and nobody knew what your name was, and everybody was scattered about, and somebody did blood tests or genetic markers on all of the people who were scattered about, it's the bloodline that's going to speak towards it.
No.
Yes, it is. It's the bloodline that is. They don't know what your name was. I don't know who this is, but I know these people were related based on the blood work.
So when people died in our family, how did you get payouts? Or like DNA tests or the name?
You get paid on the name because the paperwork has to name you.
And that's what matters, the name.
So if you have a daughter, you just name her in the paperwork. She is still your daughter.
What happens when she changes her name?
Then you put in the paperwork her married name.
But what if you don't do that?
She'll still get it because she's still next of kin. She'll still get it.
Will she get it if her...
Donna got it. She got it. She got it first before you got it.
Will they still get it if the brother's name matches quicker than your name?
Yes, she would still get it.
Who gets it first?
You would all get it at the same time because she's still next of kin. That's what next of kin
is the name. So if you...
She is still, doesn't matter. She's still next of kin. And she's the oldest child. She's next of kin.
I'm
She
not
got
saying-
it first.
I'm just saying if you.
And her last name isn't Simon.
Well, I'm saying, well, it was a fight.
It wasn't a fight. She got paid out long before you ever got your check.
Well, that's because. But come on, I ain't gonna go
But
on
that's
that
what I'm
about
saying.
that.
She's next of kin, so she got paid out immediately.
What I'm saying is, if you die and you have a son that's named Junior of your same last name, and your daughter has a different last name, he gets paid out first because the name matters.
She's next of kin. She's gonna get paid too.
She'll get paid as well, but he'll
So
get
then why
paid
did Donna
first.
get paid first?
Because neither names matched.
So she got paid first because the names didn't match.
No, because they were there and they could do it. And I'm in Mexico. If I was there, I could have, but they were there. I wasn't there.
She's still next of kin. She's listed as next of kin.
So am
just
I.
like you.
No, but I'm saying when the names don't match.
Doesn't matter. She's listed as next of kin.
Gordon Simon Jr. will get paid first before if I had a daughter named something Smith.
No, because I make sure she's in the paperwork.
Well, I mean,
right? That's what the paperwork is for, is so that people don't get missed.
Lineage moving forward and backward. So I'm talking about forward. We're arguing about forward. She's getting mad about it.
I'm not getting mad about it. I'm saying that if you have a daughter, I am a daughter.
Right. You're upset about that part, but.
And my father didn't be like, yeah, I'm going to get the majority of it to you two brothers, because even though you do all of the work, everything that needs to be done for our estate, you've had to take care of for the last 15 years.
I don't know.
Because they're Ogle and they have my last name, I'm going to leave the majority of the inheritance I built up for them.
Well, I don't really want to go into that. I'm trying to leave it alone. I mean,
but you're saying
because you're making it more personal than
but you're basically saying that that's what I would have deserved. That Kevin and Daryl should have gotten the majority of it because they're Ogle, and I just have to build the wealth for myself, for my children.
You're making it more personal. I don't want to go there. Because
but that's what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. I mean, that's why I say I don't want to go there. Because
so give me the scenario.
What do you mean the scenario?
You're saying if I have two sons and a daughter, I'm going to give them 75%, I'm going to give her 25%.
Well, all right. I mean, I don't want to go there because it's too personal. So, I mean, lineage forward and backwards, right? Because good shout out to our brother Treeshan. He's going to tell you about the lineage backwards so that you can get your reparations if you deserve them, if you're from here. You got to have lineage forward for your family and leaving it. I'm not saying about disrespecting the daughter, but understand if you got a certain amount of money and you leave it to your daughter, it's going down another line, going down a different bloodline. And even though you say that's still your bloodline, but eventually it won't be your bloodline, really, for the most part, right? So I don't have any daughters, so that's not really something. I'm just speaking on that. Just to say, know where you're leaving your money that you worked hard for.
Paperwork wise, which was made by a bunch of nerd-ass guys who felt some type of way back then, everything follows the patriarchal side. But if you put anyone's DNA under a microscope, we see mom.
I understand.
Yahab Sakari said the black woman is always thinking money, but that's why we in the situation we are in. The bloodline goes through the man, not the woman. No. White people know it's through the father. If I have a granddaughter, she is still of my blood. That's one of the reasons why surnames can be hyphenated. Still pays homage to the matriarch line. Yahab Zakari says, bro, don't let her win this one. We're not fighting. We're just having a conversation. It's not win or lose.
Nah.
But if we had a daughter, I wouldn't let him hold back what we've built. And we've built I helped you build this significant thing. It wasn't even like you built it yourself.
I would just tell you that that's not the way to go.
But I'm saying I helped you build this big, beautiful thing that we have and continue to help you every day. So for us to leave a fraction to our daughter, I would have an issue with that.
No. It's just like a pie chart. You would leave less of a fraction.
Less of a fraction. Yeah. She doesn't even deserve the fraction.
What I'm talking about is, so, I mean, let's make it simple. You got 75% and you leave 25%, you leave the other 75% to the side. That's all I'm saying, is use a pie chart.
But I helped you to build this.
Well, if you want to do it, then I would just tell you that's the wrong thing to do, but I wouldn't.
But I'm not a Simon.
You are.
I'm not. Genetically speaking, I am not a Simon.
Right.
Right. So then I shouldn't get anything either.
Anything from whom?
Anything that we built, I shouldn't have access to because I am not a Simon. I'm an Ogle.
No, no, that's not work like it doesn't work like that.
I am not
That's
part of
why
the bloodline.
that's why lineage
I
learning
am not part of your lineage.
is so important to
But
understand
I'm not
lineage.
part of your lineage.
You're not part of my lineage, but you're
Right.
married to me. So makes you a Simon.
So what about the daughter who's born a Simon?
Yes.
Until she's not a Simon,
Yeah.
then she don't get nothing.
Do you want to run your money all the way down that line?
I think she deserves the same amount of portion as our sons.
Do you want
If
to?
I help to build it, yes. If you built it by yourself, I wouldn't say squat.
So give it to her.
I would say you built this. If that's how you want to break it up, go ahead and break it up that way.
So now she's a Jones and she squanders off all the money that you worked hard to build.
What if she doesn't? What if she is the responsible one and built on it, but your Simon son squanders it?
It's a coin flip now.
What if none of them squander it because we raised them right,
What if all of them squander it?
despite us raising them right?
Yeah. It's a coin flip. It's a coin flip there.
Jay-Z did what? I don't know what Jay-Z did. Oh, yeah, he changed his name legally so that he can have access to the wealth. So legally, he's Carter Knowles. You can look that up.
That's what they say.
Look at Kobe and his daughters. He poured everything into Gigi, but he doesn't have any sons. Yahab Sakari said it goes to the first son. Jay-Z isn't no one to follow. Jay-Z didn't leave that first son nothing. I think she got paid out $250,000, and that's it. To be honest, it all goes by what parents, grandparents say to be done. I know. I personally stipulated that any daughters that are born into the family must keep the family name. So Bitcoin Shango saying his daughters
Okay, come at me.
have to keep their family name.
Have to keep.
So she'll have to be like Simon such and such. Because I don't know what Bitcoin Shango's last name is.
Doesn't that? I'm pretty sure that still runs the wealth now the other way.
Well, that's a stipulation.
Okay.
T-Will Line Man for hire. Hi, T-Will Line. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, I didn't even notice, Bitcoin Shango. You came in your final form today. It's Saturday. You would be in your final form today.
Saturday.
Just to start a foundation and give it all away.
Yes,
I'm not
sounds
fighting
like.
with my woman about my bloodline. Bitcoin Shango called me stubborn. Yahab Sakari, when you got married at that point, you were not of your father. He said, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
This is getting out of hand. They're eating
Is it
popcorn.
because she's getting on me?
I'm
just telling you the
Wait
truth.
a second,
She
though.
getting on
I
me.
didn't raise my voice, right?
I
I
think
wasn't
you're good.
angry. I did not raise my voice. We were just having a discussion.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm just
And
telling
I'm
you the
saying,
truth.
because I'm a daughter, I would have been really upset if my dad would have did that. Your sons don't have to live one blinking finger to help mom do anything. I pay the bills. I keep the house up. I paid the house off. I have to go there multiple times a year to take care of her.
That's another thing, though.
You didn't go to your sons to do that. You came to me to do that.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, you adding something extra on.
I'm not adding, but that's the scenario for a lot of women who have siblings. And they have the responsibility of their parents.
I don't know. I watched the video this morning.
But wait, just to get on y'all
Okay.
point, I didn't get upset. I didn't raise my voice. Nobody was cussing. Nobody was angry. We're not even arguing about it. I'm just saying he sees it one way. I see it a very specific way because I am the only daughter and I do everything.
She don't see it the lineage way. That's all I'm saying.
Right? And I do everything.
So I watched the and what you just said. I watched this video this morning. It just came across, and it was Vlad TV, and I don't really watch Vlad TV that much, but it's Vlad and DL Hughley.
Mm-hmm.
And so Vlad was talking about, it was just a small snippet. I didn't really know the context of what they're talking about. But Vlad was talking about how bad his mother treated his father in his final days.
Oh boy.
And he said, that's why I don't have a relationship with her to this day. And then DL, he popped in like, same thing. My mother treated my dad like shit.
Oh boy.
Excuse my language. As he was dying.
Oh God.
And he said, that's why I don't deal with my mother. And I don't know, I go off the thing, but listen, we got to treat each other right as we
Yeah.
go in and out of this, as we phase out of
But
this.
my mother took care of my father until
Exactly.
he took his last breath. She was very good to him.
Exactly. So it's hit or miss.
And
Like,
she felt like
hit or
when she
miss.
couldn't do it, that was the reason why he died. She took that hard.
Yeah.
Because she couldn't do it anymore, and then we had to pull the plug.
So it's hit or miss.
She
But
was very good to him.
yeah,
But why'd you bring that up?
I don't know, but it's got lineage.
Why you bring that up?
It's still about lineage.
Okay, so here we go. Tam, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for chiming in. He said, this is what my millionaire friends do. They create trust for each child, right? The man's worth 70 million. He puts money in a trust for his son and his daughter, right? That's why I said millionaires, they're not holding some back from their daughter. They just divide it up equally, put it in a trust.
But is
everyone's
it,
protected.
well. Let's jump into it. Is it equally? A trust is a trust. If you got $100 million and you divide it up, doesn't mean it's equally. I might leave somebody 25, somebody
Yeah.
25,
That's
and
true.
then leave somebody
That's true.
this. So
That's true. Nobody famous. Thank you so much for joining. Simon doesn't understand that the girls are still part of his lineage.
what?
Numbers 27 addresses it. So she's giving us biblical aspect. I'm gonna read Numbers 27. Thank you, nobody famous.
No, I want to. Well, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Come
But thank
back
you
to
for
that.
joining Nobody Famous.
Yeah, come back to that.
Bitcoin Shango, speaking of stepchildren, they get nothing.
Stepchildren.
Yeah, he said they don't get anything. They have their own dad. I understand that, right? They
Well,
have their own father. He got to build it up for them. If he couldn't provide, that's not on me. I'll help them learn how to gain wealth, but that's on them. Cryptonomics, thank you so much for joining Cryptonomics. It's so good to have you back on the show.
What's up? What's up?
Tam, money is usually gone by the third generation. That is a very solid statistic.
It's out of here.
Shango said, unfortunately. Oh, Tron earlier said FBA, let's go. Right, so for the FBAs, let's go.
For the FBA's out here.
Yeah.
Lineage going backwards. We get it.
I am not an FBA. I'm a non-FBA. Tron 7,000. I know, but I'm just a pariah all the way around.
You got your own lineage.
Tron 7,000. I have daughters, and I agree with her. Cause he has daughters. That means I ain't leaving nothing to nobody.
What's Tron? What's that? That's all he said.
He said, I have daughters. I agree with her. If he doesn't have any sons, are you saying don't leave nothing to nobody?
So what you gonna do? You're gonna leave all your money to your daughters, and it's gonna go down
That's all I
another
have.
man's lineage.
So you want me to spend it all and not leave any generational wealth for my daughter? Hi guys, I hope you can still see us. I don't know, we just had a little flub. Okay, here we go. Let me go back. have to.
She's just looking for people to jump on me.
No, because they're all jumping on me. And Sakari don't like me.
Okay.
Tam, that's your fault if that happens. Cryptonomics says, yeah, he's right. Women create new bloodlines, men do not. Tam said the original name of the daughter still controls.
Wait. Hold on. We can't just. He's saying who's right
You're right.
because
It says, yeah, he right. I don't know who's right. Women create new bloodlines, men do not. He's saying that your bloodline is your bloodline, but the women create new ones. So he's saying you're right.
But the name.
That's what he's saying. Your name is your name all the way down, but women create new, like I created. That's what he's saying. So he said, you're right. The original name of the daughter still controls the assets.
What?
The original name of the daughter still controls the assets. So the maiden name controls the asset. If you leave something to her, it controls the asset.
But if you change her name, it goes down a different lineage
They understood that. They understand it. You don't have to keep repeating it, babe. They understand.
But you're just saying
they hear that.
If you're raising single,
if
strong,
you only
independent
have
women,
daughters, you don't leave them nothing?
No, they're going to change their name.
Understood, but that means they don't get anything that you built for them?
No, not that.
He said that the original name of the daughter basically makes her entitled to some of the assets. Really? And if I'm wrong, Tam, please clarify.
Really?
Yahab Sakari says, stand on that, bro. It's the truth. Will 45, not even JP Morgan's descendants are living off his wealth. Yes, they are. They're absolutely living off his wealth, and they have it hidden in a certain way. Look it up. They'll tell you that because they don't want the people to make a big deal about it. Bitcoin Shango said, no, don't go there. I don't know where we went that we weren't supposed to go there. Christ has a dad. Joe is the father. Joe is the stepfather. Yahar Safari.
Thank you.
He's not the sperm donor. He's the stepfather. Thank you. Name change doesn't have to matter. But biblically, right, you leave your father's house, you go into your husband's house. I belong to my husband like the children belong to my husband. But only, I guess, the boys belong to him. I guess the girls don't count. I'm not really sure. No, the girls
belong to you. It's just that they're going
to until they leave their father's house.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
But Shango was saying what I was saying. Christ is related to David through Mary.
I know that. We know that. You know that. We know that.
In a sense, even God is doing it matriarchal because the kingdom belonged to David. And then the kingdom belongs to Christ through Mary.
Who does it belong to?
It belongs to Christ. It belongs to God. It belongs to God the Father. That's what it belongs to.
All right, that's awesome.
When did last names come into existence, Tiffany? I don't know. A long time ago. And that's what the argument's about. It's about a bunch of slaves getting taken, and now we're in this weird new matrix. But this is a good show, right? Because not very often do we disagree, right? This is rarity, and it caught me by surprise because I didn't know that's where we were going with the lineage. Baby, turn the light on.
Oh,
I'll turn the light on. You see him? I want to turn the light on for me now because he's mad because I disagree with him.
No, my knees hurt.
On live TV.
I mean, listen.
Okay. Oh, no, that's not good.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh.
Can you see it? Is it gone?
No, you should do the doubles right here.
Do the doubles? Yeah. Like that?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a little better.
I'll get the internet light, y'all, if it continues. We usually don't disagree on stuff. So this was actually pretty good. And because it caught me by surprise, I got a candid moment. Cryptonomics agrees with you. I wasn't upset.
She's mad.
But I wasn't upset.
She's mad because I was right.
That's going to make me upset. This isn't about right and wrong. This is just about, I don't agree with that.
But Cryptonomics say, I know.
Cryptonomics said, I agree with him. My dad had wealth. He divorced my mom and got remarried. When he died, I didn't get anything because of the new wife and her kids. But he still belongs to his father. So that wasn't right.
Well, maybe it sounds like maybe paperwork wasn't right, but he's right in what he's saying.
Okay.
He's right in what he's saying.
T-Will lineman for hire. Bro, you can't win. Just let it ride.
I don't win.
Cryptonomics. If you want wealth to remain in the hands of your people, get a will and trust.
Thank you.
Tam said, no, that's not how it works. Oh, maybe he's talking Cryptonomics. Without the will and trust, your money and wealth will go to anyone who's still alive. No. Their probate court is really good about figuring out next of kin.
Let me tell you something.
But wait a second. We have somebody in the room named Lou Skunt. And I have to ask, are you Guyanese? because your name is crazy. That's craziness.
Wait, I don't know what. I don't even know. What
You don't know what that means, but
I
Guyanese
don't know.
people and Trinidadians is know what that means. So I want to know if Lou is Guyanese. Let me know. Cryptonomics said, oh, Lou said, is this live? Yes, it's live, Lou. He said, nice. Y'all shouldn't be like enjoying a black man, black woman disagreeing.
Well, I'm gonna tell you though.
He said, I agree with him. Oh, I read that already. Paperwork wins over name. That's true. Paperwork do win over name. Because you could leave money to like friends and stuff if you like screw my family.
But name will trump something where it's like, well, we got to default to the name.
Well, Cryptonomics said he was his parents' only child. But when his father remarried, all of the money went to the wife and her children. So he's
that happens.
Mo, thank you so much for coming back. We enjoy when you come and talk in the chat. He said, all my money will go to my sons. Tam said, Lineage and the daughters stays with her through the paperwork. This is true. And that's all I was saying, is that if you put it.
No.
What we're saying is, listen to what we're saying, right? Because you want to be right. I'm just saying something. If you had a daughter and you just put it in the paperwork, she would get what you left her. Whether you left her 25% or an equal portion.
I can leave her 100%. If she marries a man, it's going down his lineage.
He's just saying that gets it because of the paperwork.
Then where does it go?
I understand that it goes down the line, but it's still your daughter. And if you build something up, she should have it.
She should have it, and then his line will have it.
Okay.
Nerd
Up Inc. Peace, family. Yahab Sakari says she's tripping now. What did I do that made tripping? I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I didn't shout. I didn't cuss. Because I disagree. Somebody tell me if I came off abrasive or aggressive. I mean, we were just having a conversation. I'm trying to understand where he's coming from, and I just don't agree with that point of view. So I don't know why I'm tripping.
We don't have daughters, so it's not a...
We don't have daughters, so this is a non-point for us. Nobody famous. The daughters of, I can't pronounce that, had this issue. God said they deserve the inheritance because they are part of the lineage in Numbers 27. So I'm going to read Numbers 27, nobody famous. Thank you. Mo, I'm with Uncle on this one. I don't need no other man spending my money. Bitcoin Shango, I also took steps to make it based off of merit. If any of the descendants have issues, drugs, alcohol, etc., they get nothing. I ain't supporting nobody bad habit. Shango crazy.
I got bad habits. That's okay.
You got a tequila habit, y'all.
It's okay.
I spend money on his tequila habit. I'm gonna give you a fraction of it now. Because Tam, at MO, how does another man spend that money? Inheritance is protected while married. No, what do you mean by inheritance is protected while married?
Inheritance is...
It's not protected while married. If your daddy leave you, my father left me a significant amount of money. It was for us to do whatever we wanted. We have a joint account, right? He can spend what he wants to. I can spend what I want to. We have cards. He could just squander the money if he wanted to. He took all of what my father left and put it into Bitcoin, right? And that's our money, and my father didn't even leave it to me. He left it to us. He absolutely adored Simon.
Yeah.
So it was left to Aaron and Gordon and all of the children. Y'all don't know his first name. His first name is Gordon. But we met in the military, so I call him Simon. I've always called him Simon.
Shout out to Zoe Williams.
What does that mean? Why you shout out to Zoe? Why you shout out Zoe?
I don't think he knows my name.
Oh, Gordon. That's funny. That's actually pretty funny. So for those of you, yes, I do call my husband by his last name. And when I met him, I thought that was his first name, so it just stuck. Everybody. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that was your first name. How did she meet me? I met you.
How did she meet me though?
In the dorms.
I know how you met me, but how did you meet me?
In the dorms.
How did you meet me?
And you signed Simon.
So where you guys at, man? I don't know, man.
Well, let me finish reading their stuff.
All right, because I'm gonna get in. I want to get into my hip hop heads and see what they have.
In my trust, anyone that marries into the family don't get anything once they're no longer part of the family. Well, damn, Shango. After they divorce or separate. Oh, that I got you.
Yeah,
I got you. I got that. I agree with that, Shango. Tam said you can control money after death. They can enjoy the ride while they're with us, but when the ride stops, they got to get off. Okay. Cryptonomics called me a tether.
You're a tether.
Because I am non-FBA.
Well, so
That's what your boy Tariq would call you.
I would have to push back on that, but
Okay.
you know,
Trust that. That's cool. I mean,
we gotta talk about stuff. That's
Um,
there. You can't a tether. So she didn't pick where she was born. Okay, so
I'm not a
she
tether.
can't be a tether. But yes, her parents. She's a first generational American, but an American nonetheless because when she pop out, she got a blue passport. So there's that. But FBA, you're talking
I'm
about
not
lineage.
foundational and FBA.
So yeah, she's not a tether though, because tethers have different things associated with them. So she's not a tether. But I'm a big fan of.
It froze while we were arguing, so everybody's freaked out by it. And then T. Willine said, "Let's let this go." Bitcoin Shangle goes, "No, but we weren't arguing." I'm gonna have to watch this over again because I don't think we were arguing.
Yeah,
No,
I just was
wasn't.
sitting. I was sitting still.
He said it got too real, so the internet froze it now.
Yeah.
He said it's gonna be Johnson Family Investments.
Come on, y'all.
That's Jahaz Sakari.
Come
Cryptonomics
on.
said daughters usually don't get left anything because they're supposed to be gifted with a new husband.
Supposed to be. That's what I'm saying. Moving back, but people are like, oh no, we don't do it like that anymore.
But Tam said if you have a daughter and she changes her name, you two as the parents control what anyone can do with the money coming out of the trust. Don't commingle the assets. Got it. Yes, you don't know the Bible. How is he the son of David if he was birthed through sperm? He wasn't birthed through sperm. That's what I'm saying.
Who doesn't know the Bible?
I know the Bible. I don't know Numbers 27, but nobody put me onto that. I'm actually in Judges now, nobody 27. So I'll be reading Judges tonight. But I'm going to go back to Numbers 27.
We got to get back to some of these old posts because I want to get on some people.
T. Willine said, let's stop promoting this. Please stop fueling the fire. But we weren't arguing, T. Willine.
Like, she was jumping on my head.
I was not.
She was jumping on my head. It's okay.
I was just trying to understand, like, but I didn't yell. I didn't curse. Was I too aggressive? Was I too assertive?
No.
Cryptonomics said tequila.
You talking to me?
If you know, you know, said joking. Let Freedom Ring. Hi, Let Freedom Ring. Thank you so much for joining. Tam said if you put it in the joint account, you commingle the inheritance. So yes, you gave access to the asset. That is true, Tam. But he and I are one, right? I'm still his nation builder, even though y'all got me feeling like I did something wrong tonight. And whatever I acquire is ours.
Family right? Out there.
And whatever he acquires is ours.
Family out there, you guys are speaking and stuff like that. If you can talk to her, and see if I can get some new LeBrons.
I don't listen to him, y'all.
Hey, man,
Cryptonomics said I didn't call her a tether. That's Tariq Nasheed talk.
Oh, okay.
We're lagging. I know because we had such a long dialogue, I wasn't getting to the chats like I usually do. So I'm sorry about that, y'all. She's an Israelite, period. I'm an Israelite, and is that a bad thing? Because I feel like you're trying to insult me.
This is going all
Cryptonomics. A female marries a man with money who was gifted money by his dad. Women usually outlive men, so they get the money. This is true.
This is true.
Tiffany Lewis, she said, you did fine, First Lady. It's always good to get an understanding. But I do want to know, I want the men in the chat, was that aggressive? Was I too aggressive with my husband? I mean, like I said, usually we don't disagree on stuff. Today we did. And I didn't think it was.
Today we disagreed.
But I didn't think it was volatile.
It wasn't volatile. She lost. That's what it was. She took an L, and that's it.
Y'all see me rolling my eyes.
That's what it was. She disagreed.
Anyway, if a woman never married, she would be with her parents anyway, and they would be supporting her. That's right, Cryptonomics.
No.
Let freedom ring.
Man, y'all be.
I agree. You are all family.
So read that post back to me.
If a woman never married, she would be with her parents anyway, and they would be supporting her.
She would be with her parents.
They would be supporting her.
I don't know how old you guys are and stuff like that. Our parents are dead, so
I still have a mother.
So no,
I cancel that out.
You're not gonna still be with your parents.
Okay.
So I don't understand what you're saying. Give me another.
Bitcoin Shangle says, as far as yelling, you good. Okay, so I wasn't yelling, or I was yelling, but I didn't feel like I was yelling.
Nah, shoot. Yeah.
My dad would his voice would get raised as he got excited. He wasn't arguing. Plus, y'all got a high ceiling too. What does that mean? Oh, it's the sound bouncing off the ceiling. Like, what does that mean? T. Will Man for Hire said I was too aggressive, and
Yeah.
Simon took the L.
I took an L.
He looked bad. What do you mean?
I take
he
no
looked
L's,
bad?
sir. What are you talking about?
Are you saying I made him look bad because I was trying to figure out what he meant?
I take no L's.
Give me
sir.
a little bit of clarification.
Yeah, give me
T.
some
Will,
clarification, T. Will, so I might have to get at it.
But you felt like that was too aggressive?
No, I don't take L's. Get at me.
He took an L. I get that part. T. Will, Lineman for Hire. I get that. Right? He took the L, yeah. But
I don't take no L's. Man.
Tell me what was too aggressive, because I felt like that was calm. Yes, you made him look bad. But he did win. He said, I made you look bad, but you won. But you took the L because I made you look bad. How did I make him look bad? Because I didn't agree with him? And Yahab Sakari, I got it. Yes, that's God's greatest people. I was worried. Like,
I take no L's, man. Tell me.
Man. I want to know collectively, do you guys feel like I made him look bad because I disagreed with him, or I was trying to get an understanding? Because it was personal, right? Like I said, I'm the only daughter, and that same scenario actually happened.
I wasn't going to run that back.
What do you mean you wasn't going to run that back?
Because of the way it happened, I wasn't going to run that back.
Yeah, so I wanted to know, like, do you think it would have been right for my dad to be like, no?
Don't run it back, because it wasn't, he didn't have the options and stuff like that.
What does that mean?
He wasn't there, and like mentally he wasn't there and had the options.
But if he didn't die with the dementia, and he just passed away because he was 83 years old, and on his deathbed he said, I'm leaving 75% to your brothers because they are my sons. You went and got married, your husband got to figure it out for you, but I'm going to give you 25%. You would have felt like that was right?
Yeah. Those were his sons. As I would do with my sons. Those were his sons.
Even though you came to me and made me do everything, you didn't go to your sons to take care of mom. You came to me.
Those were his sons, and you.
But what about I do everything? I'm the one who paid the house off.
You said his son was a genius. Oh, those were his sons. Now he's a genius, right?
So you don't think I'm worth the equal portion of the inheritance?
He said he was a genius. He said he was a genius.
Okay, I'm not a genius. I say he was a prodigy.
Prodigy. I'm sorry, prodigy.
I'm very intelligent. I'm not a prodigy, but I'm extremely intelligent.
But they ran together when you was just a little baby. They ran together. They fixed cars. They did all stuff together. They ran together.
Okay, but he didn't run to his prodigy son to take care of his wife. He came to his daughter to pay the bills, to make sure the house is in order.
Yeah, but don't make
it take care of everything.
I got you. It might have got messy.
When she needs something, she calls me multiple times a day.
It might have got messy.
I had to help her take care of him towards the end. Yeah. I didn't sit in the waiting room as he took his last breath.
It might have got messy, and he might have understood that you were the best person to come to, not to.
And you think, though, even with all of that, he would have been right to say, yes, I did ask you to do all of that, and you're the daughter, you need to do it, but you only get 25% of the inheritance because you're not an ogle anymore. You're a Simon, and you've been a Simon longer than an ogle. Yeah. But you still need to do the work for your mother.
Yes.
That would have been right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying to save his money. I'm giving my money to my son.
Okay.
I mean, because
he said he didn't want to make it personal, and you was making it personal. That's where the tension came from. Because he's telling you the truth, and you was fighting tooth and nail. You weren't aggressive. The acoustics from the high ceiling makes voices bounce.
Oh, come on now.
Sons always come first. If his sons were geniuses, then they can figure out how to make more money. This is work your dream empty. Yes, if you want to use the word genius, but he's a prodigy, right? So from young, He could do, he's an engineer in real life now. He scored high in SAT, went to a gifted school, so he's a prodigy. I think genius is,
I think the light might
that's
work.
Kanye level.
Like,
The chat bugging, y'all like this. I've been begging to stop. Y'all keep dumping fire.
I'm sorry.
Should CME first with dollars? With CME? Should CME first? Tell me what this says, Cryptonomics. This enables future men to be made to take care of women. BK Crypto, boom. Sorry for the miscommunication. I am here watching. Here's the deal. This is between the two of y'all. He said Gemini.
Gemini, you and I.
We just Aquarian.
I know.
We not even Aquarian.
Where's the Gemini's at?
I don't know what Gemini means. Tell me what that means. And it's not between the two of us because nothing bad happened. I got my full share of the inheritance, right? We put it in Bitcoin. We don't have any daughters. We only have sons.
But
Gemini prodigy.
Yeah. Huh?
I don't know what that means. Gemini prodigy. It says Gemini prodigy. Prodigy. I still don't know what that means, Cryptonomics. Aquarius prodigy too. I'm not a prodigy. I'm just really smart. What do you want, babe?
Hey, you do that thing, the adapter.
You came to ask me for my Bluetooth?
Yeah.
This is what they do. This is what they do.
That is what they do, yes.
Yes, that's what they do.
I can't even get it out. I can't get it out. I can't get it out without messing up. You gotta wait, babe.
Yeah, you gotta wait.
I was saying sons should come first. Got it.
Yeah.
This enables future men to be able to take care of women. Please get them new LeBrons, right?
Please, somebody, please. Size 13, maybe size 14. And yeah, I would appreciate it.
Unc has a car with his name on it. He can buy himself some LeBrons. I bought him some LeBrons in January. He's wearing them. No, he's not. He wore them yesterday, but he had them on
I
today.
ain't nothing on today.
But I do understand what you're saying about lineage. I'm just saying that.
No,
To me, that's
she's beating me down over the lineage, and unfortunately, she's wrong. But
I said I get what you're saying. I just said, Simon, I said that I understand what you're saying.
But you're wrong. Lineage is lineage. I mean, people keep saying matriarchal, patriarchal, all this stuff.
All I'm saying is, as the daughter, it doesn't feel right. That's all I'm saying. Right? I'm not saying that you're wrong. I never said that you were wrong. Right? I'm asking real questions, and I'm saying, what if you have a daughter who is the responsible one and who does everything? Because that is a common scenario.
It is.
You would look her in the face and say, in spite of how great you are, and I know your brothers are lacking, you're still only going to get a quarter of the inheritance. To me, it don't feel right.
Yeah, it's just you just have to do the.
That's all I'm saying. It just don't feel right. Let me see. This is between two of y'all. We not here to stoke any flames. We still supporting the heck out of y'all. But it's not between us. We don't have daughters. We don't have no daughters. This scenario is not gonna come up.
No, she's tight because she is.
I am the daughter, and I would have been upset if my father did that to me. Is all I'm saying, and he didn't do that to me. That's not what happened, right? I'm asking a real question. Do you feel like this? And he's saying yes, in spite of all that you do. In spite that you are the cornerstone of that household, you hold it up, you take care of your mother like your father did when he was alive, and your brothers don't take on any of that responsibility. Should you still get a fraction of the inheritance? And he said, yes, because your husband's supposed to build it for you. And I just said, okay.
But name doesn't go down.
I understood.
The name matters because somebody said something about the name. The name matters.
He meant the conversation in general, but it's, I'm saying we weren't arguing. If you guys felt I was aggressive, I'm apologizing. I didn't feel like I was being aggressive. I really was trying to understand the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally think that that's not right. If anybody should get the majority of the inheritance, it should have been me. I ain't even beef about that because I do all the work.
Shouldn't be.
I know, but I'm saying I put the labor in.
Yeah, It's going
right?
down
The
another
house
name.
would have never gotten paid off if I didn't step in.
It's going down another name line though.
Understood, but I understand what you're saying. I'm not
I'm just saying.
right, but I was just saying I personally don't feel, and I feel like it's by happenstance that I am female. So like I gotta build it I gotta do it myself. Is basically
Oh,
what you're
please.
saying. But that is what you're saying. Your daughter gotta, if your husband don't build it for you or he don't know how to build it, you gotta figure it out.
I haven't built it for you or no.
No, I'm talking about if you had a daughter and you were, my father left me mine. I got all of it. Right? I'm saying if you had a
Yeah.
daughter, you're basically telling her he better build it for you or you better figure it out and build it for yourself.
Well, I'm just saying, if your son, first son, second son, he's gonna leave it to them.
Understood,
He's gonna
right?
leave
But
it to
I'm
them.
saying if you have a daughter, you are essentially telling her if your husband cannot build something for you, you better figure it out on your own because I'm giving it to your brothers.
No, they're not telling you that.
What is he telling you if he's like, it's got to go down this line? You have to figure it out for yourself.
No, he's telling you have to pick the right husband.
And if you don't, you better figure it out because you're
Oh.
on your own, right?
No, I don't care for that, but okay.
But that's essentially what's being said.
Pick the right man.
And if you don't, so many people don't pick the right man.
Who? Just pick the right man.
And if you don't, and what if you pick a great guy? He just doesn't know how to build wealth. Pick the great guy. He's sweet. He's kind. He's helpful.
Right there. You said it right there. That's why he doesn't leave you the majority of the wealth, because you pick a guy who doesn't know how to build wealth. So he leaves it to his sons, and if they lose it, they lose it. But he said,
So why can't she have the same? If you lose it, you lose it. Why she can't have the same?
hey man, I don't know. So do you want to have your wealth and go down this way and have this guy lose
But
it?
you just said if your sons lose it, they lose it.
Do you want?
But I'm asking,
do
why
you want your wife's? Do you want your daughter's husband losing the wealth?
What about my son's wife?
Hey man, I can live with that.
So you can live with your son's wife losing the wealth, but not your daughter's husband.
Not at all.
Okay. All right, conversation over.
Not at all.
What does anyone think about the thought of the U.S. primary export becoming people? Yeah. And the main import remittances. Our education system is passing students with 25%. T. Wheeline said Bitcoin's at 60. They don't want to hear this conversation anymore.
Okay. Ooh,
They changing the subject.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't have anything.
I don't know. I didn't know what Bitcoin's price was today. I didn't check.
He said it's 69,000. He just said that.
Okay, 69.
T. Wheeline man for hire.
Yeah, that's a nice price. It's a nice price, man, for the people, for the OGs who've been here. Because we remember when it was 6,200. Remember the good old days when it's 6,200. So yeah, 10x. Hey man, it's where it's at. It's okay. It's okay. It's good. It's good. I think so.
Yep. Keep stacking. Keep putting your money away.
Yep.
Have your paperwork in order so that you can leave the money to who you want to leave it to.
Oh my goodness.
I wasn't being obnoxious. I was just saying, like, really have your paperwork in order.
You should though. You should have your paperwork in order because then on Snap, you're out of here.
Yeah. I mean, I was being serious about what do you guys think about Ethereum? We have Ethereum. Some of our Ethereum is locked up on BlockFi. So we're waiting for them to unlock it to give us our Ethereum, but we have some Ethereum. I mean, we don't talk about it much. You got the gas fees. I didn't get a gas fee refund, so I need to figure out what's going on with that.
If ever.
Our kids, when left to school alone, aren't learning anything. They should be learning coding, cybersecurity, IT skills in general. School is not designed really to empower your children educationally. It wasn't designed for that.
Okay.
And a lot of the kids who did come out and did really well, that had something to do with their own motivation. That had something to do with their own personality, discipline, upbringing, so on and so forth. I grew up in New York. A lot of people just dropped out, right? This wasn't their thing. They were still able to make something, I guess. A lot of our New York rappers never made it past 8th grade. They still, made something of themselves. But we've been homeschooling the kids since 2015 and give them real world application. We give them the things that they actually need. Do we use a little bit of school curriculum? Yeah, we do, right? So like the STEM, the science, the technology, we don't do engineering just because we don't have that background.
The internet, mathematics.
And the mathematics, right? He has the mathematics, he has the science. I have the English, the grammar, I have the writing, composition, business communications. I do the business modules. The children for I'm gonna say 2 years in a row, almost 3, they had to build different types of businesses. They had to do quarterly reports. They had to do treasury reserve assets. They had to manage the manpower, the overhead. They had to run the budget. They had to do forecasting budget. So with homeschooling, you have more control over the information that you feel from your anecdotal point of view that would be beneficial to your children. Now, I get it, right? Some people, we're just not in a position to make money and homeschool our children at the same time. Cool. We tell those parents that you should have, like on a Saturday, just maybe 3 hours, and that's homeschool for those 3 hours. You get to teach them, like Bitcoin Shango was kind of referencing, was it Bitcoin Shango? Yeah, he was referencing cybersecurity, IT skills, coding, so on and so forth. They have a cute coding school, Bitcoin Shango, for children that's based out in India. I think it's BYJUS. Junior did that for like 2 years. And then Junior moved on to take coding courses on edx.org. So E as in Aaron, D as in doll, X as in x-ray.org. And he was able to take coding classes there. We had to create a LinkedIn profile for him. We had to fudge the numbers because he was only 13 at the time. He was like 10 or 11. But we made sure we created him a LinkedIn and put the coding course certificates on his LinkedIn. So you do have Khan Academy is fantastic. You guys can do that for like 3 hours on a Saturday or 4 hours on a Saturday. And even those 4 hours every single Saturday, every month, you would be shocked at how much they would absorb, how much they gain, how much growth you'll see. And you develop whatever homeschool curriculum you want. And it's easy, right? We're not asking you to do a semester-long curriculum or a school year-long curriculum. You just kind of pick, for the month of April, we're going to talk about cybersecurity. So for 2 hours every Saturday, we're going to do phishing, vishing, all the different aspects of cybersecurity, 2-step authentication, multi-factor authentication, so on and so forth. And then in May, you can say, okay, this is going to be a science month. And then you pick something cool, maybe anatomy and physiology 1. And we're going to learn about this for 4 hours every Saturday. So you can do the homeschooling, be flexible with them. For you who have younger children, Adapted Mind. It's kind of pricey in that each module, each like science, math, English, social studies, history, each subject, I should say, costs, I think, $25 each. And if you have multiple children, that can start to add up on you. But it's an incredible program. The graphics, the skins and stuff, because they're already into that anyway, that they can earn when they do well. And it gives you a chance to see what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, things they need help in. So you can definitely, there's lots and lots and lots of free as well as paid programs that you can get the kids into in order to boost their education.
Yes, most definitely. Let's check out the chat room, because on the chat room.
Somebody said tis at ETH, Bitcoin Shango. BK Crypto said BlockFi. Nexo, oh my God. Bitcoin Shango, I teach mine at home, hence why I specified when I left school alone. I feel it's on us to teach as much as possible. Agreed. We did the same thing. Our kids are educated by assignment to the collegiate level.
Yes.
I say that to say, and our 22-year-old has a couple of clients at night. He teaches business communications to them. They are Spanish, but they work in remote positions in the United States.
Yeah.
So a lot of that he was able to pull from the homeschool in order to turn around and make some revenue off of it. I say that to say our kids may end up working abroad for Bitcoin and Satoshis in a few decades, much like the folks from Mexico come to work in the US now. Folks are way too comfortable with how things are now. What happens when everything does a rear march? At the drop of a hat, like a contraction in the market? Bitcoin protects folks who dive in now, the earlier the better, in my opinion, of course. No, I agree, Bitcoin Shango, especially Black parents. And like I said, don't make it complicated. Just pick whatever bracket of time you want to do on Saturday. We always feel that with small children, you should do it early Saturday. That way they can have the rest of the day to themselves. Kids have so much time off of school, right? Wednesday's a half a day, and President's Day, and professional executive day, where it's for the school, so the teachers are going to school, but the kids don't. And you can have do nows for them. You can create activities for them to do when they're home and off anyway. But the only thing is you have to be consistent with it. He said the rear march was a little drill and ceremony for my vets in the chat. Yeah, sound like a contraction in the market. So, it's just up to you how you want to bring your kids up. You should always, if you are taking on the education of your children at home, you got to do the wealth stuff. You got to do the wealth stuff with them, right? Teach them how to build a household budget. This is what the paycheck is, and you create a paycheck. And typically we make it really hard, right? We make the paycheck not really cover everything to see where their priorities are, how innovative they can be. Do they come up with a way to come up with revenue in order to cover it? So we always start them at a deficit anyway when we do those activities with them, so that you can get them and you can kind of see how their thinking works. Instead of, unfortunately, them having the real world scenario come up and having to think on the run at that point. They'll be used to doing it as adults, and you should run them through those scenarios now. But we are at the hour and 51-minute mark. There are 69 people in the room. At one point, I think there were 72.
Oh, wow.
So I want to thank all of you guys for joining. I'm sorry if you guys felt like it was too tense. But to me, it was a good conversation because I can kind of get to see where his thinking is, and I can try to understand, how people perceive Lineage and where it should go and how it goes and so on and so forth. So I don't want any of you guys to feel like it was too tense or whatever. We've been married for 23 years. That is not conflict. And the entire time we were talking, we did have the understanding that this scenario doesn't affect us one way or the other. We're just trying to understand it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if it got too tense, and I'll make sure that that doesn't happen in the future. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all so much for joining, and we will see you guys on Monday.